everyone, I am Dr. Sindhu. Let me ask you a question. Can a social worker take decisions based only on professional opinions, or should there be a professional standard guiding them? That's exactly where values and ethics come in. In this session, we are going to understand the importance of values and code of ethics in social work. Let's begin. Welcome to Learn with Dr. Sindhu. Let's begin by understanding the code of ethics developed by the National Association of Social Workers. The word ethics means a system or code of morals of particular profession. This code provides a clear set of standards that guide how social workers should behave professionally. The main mission of social work is to enhance human well-being and meet the basic needs of people, especially those who are vulnerable, oppressed, or living in poverty. Social work is unique because it focuses not only on individuals but also on the wider social environment that affects their lives. The social work actively participates in social justice, equality, and social change. The code of ethics is built on 6 core values: service, social justice, dignity, and worth of the person, importance of human relationships, integrity, and competence. It also helps social workers handle ethical dilemmas, make responsible decisions, and maintain professionalism in practice. Recent updates also highlight the importance of self-care and cultural competence. So this code acts as a foundation that guides every action and decision in social work practice. The public can trust social workers because their actions are guided by an ethical code. It helps new social workers understand the profession and encourages them to continue learning and practicing self-care. Finally, it also defines unethical behavior and allows the profession to take disciplinary action when needed. The preamble of the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics explains the core mission of social work. It clearly states that the main goal of social work is to enhance human well-being and meet the basic human needs, especially for people who are, as we discussed earlier, oppressed, living in poverty. What makes social work unique is its dual focus. It's not only work with individuals but also look at the social and environmental factors affecting their lives. Social workers actively promote social justice and social change, and they work with different groups including individuals, families, communities, and organizations. Another important aspect is empowerment, helping people develop the ability to solve their own problems. So, the preamble gives us a clear understanding that social work is not just about helping individuals but also about improving society as a whole. Social work values and ethical principles are the foundation of professional social work practice, and they are clearly defined by the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics. There are 6 core values that guide every social worker. Let's understand each one. First one, service. It means putting the needs of clients before our own comfort and personal benefit. It is not just about helping when it is easy, but be committed even in challenging situations. Let's understand this with the real examples. Imagine a hospital social worker helping a patient who cannot afford treatment. Instead of just completing paperwork, the social worker actively connects the patient with financial aid, government schemes, or NGOs. Or in a school setting, if a child is struggling due to family problems, the social worker doesn't ignore it. They take extra time to counsel the child and coordinate with teachers and parents. These actions show that service is not limited to duty hours, it reflects dedication and responsibility. So, service is not just what we do, but how sincerely we do it, always focusing on the well-being of others first. Social justice means standing against inequality, discrimination, and unfair treatment in society. It is not only about helping individuals but also about changing systems that create injustice. Example. Imagine a child from a poor family is denied admission in a good school just because of financial status. A social worker steps in, advocates with the school, and helps the child access education through scholarships or government support. Another example. In workplaces where migrant workers may be underpaid or exploited, a social worker may connect them to legal aid or raise awareness about their rights. Similarly, in communities where women face discrimination or violence, social workers support them through counseling, legal aid help, and empowerment programs. So, social justice means not only helping people survive injustice but actively working to remove barriers so that everyone gets equal opportunities in life. This value teaches us to respect every individual as a human being with inherent worth and dignity, no matter their background, behavior, or current situation. In social work, we separate the person from the problem. Let's understand this with real life examples. Imagine a person who is struggling with alcohol addiction. Instead of calling them irresponsible or bad, a social worker listens to their story, understands the reasons behind their addiction, and supports them to access rehabilitation services. The focus is on healing, not judging. Another example is a homeless individual living on the street. Many people may ignore or stigmatize them, but a social worker treats them with respect, speaks politely, and helps them connect to shelter, healthcare, and job opportunities. Even in correctional settings like working with prisoners, social workers focus on rehabilitation or reintegration rather than labeling them permanently as criminals. So dignity and worth of the person means treating every individual with respect, empathy, and humanity regardless of their condition or past choices. This value highlights that human relationships are at the center of social work. Change does not happen in isolation. It happens through trust, connection, and understanding between people. Social workers build relationships with clients, families, and communities so that people feel safe, supported, and willing to open up. Let's understand this with real life examples. In child welfare practice, if a child is going through abuse or neglect, they may initially feel scared or silent. A social worker patiently builds trust over time by talking gently, spending time with the child, and creating a safe space. Only then does the child begin to share their experiences. Another example is working with a family facing conflict. If the social worker does not build a good relationship with both parents, they may hide information or resist support. But when trust is developed, they become more open to counseling and change. Even in community work, strong relationship with local leaders help social workers implement programs more effectively. So, human relationships are not just part of social work, they are the foundation that makes change possible. Integrity is about doing the right thing even when no one is watching and maintaining consistency between what we say and what we do. Example. Imagine a social worker tells a client that they will help them apply for a government welfare scheme. If the worker forgets or ignores this later, the client loses trust. But a professional with integrity follows through, completes the application process, and keeps the client informed at every step. Another example is in reporting. Suppose a social worker is writing a case report. Even if the situation is complex or uncomfortable, they must present facts honestly without hiding or changing information. Integrity also means not misusing professional power. For example, not giving special favors to a client due to personal interest or influence. So, integrity in social work means being truthful, responsible, and consistent, building trust through ethical and honest practice. Competency means having the knowledge, skills, and professional ability required to perform social work effectively. It also means continuously learning and staying updated, because social work is not only about good intentions, it requires proper expertise also. Example: imagine a social worker is supporting a family living in poverty. A competent social worker should know about government welfare programs such as food assistance schemes, housing support, child benefits, or health insurance programs. By having this knowledge, the worker can guide the family to the right support at the right time. Another example is a single mother is struggling financially. The social worker may refer her to financial aid schemes, employment opportunities, or NGO assistance instead of just giving general advice. Another example is in healthcare settings. A social worker should be aware of hospital financial assistance programs or government health insurance schemes so they can connect patients to affordable treatment. Competency also means updating ourselves regularly through workshops, trainings, programs, and supervision. So competency ensures that we provide safe, effective, and professional support to clients while continuously improving ourselves. 5 important ethical practices in social work profession. These ethical practices are not just guidelines, they protect both the client and the social worker and ensure professionalism in every situation. First, confidentiality. It means protecting the private information of clients. As social workers, clients trust us with every personal details about their lives. It is our ethical responsibility not to share this information with others without permission. For example, if a client shares about family conflict or mental health struggles, we should not discuss it with friends, colleagues, or anyone outside the professional context. However, there are exceptions. If the client is at risk of harming themselves or others, confidentiality may need to be broken for safety reasons. So maintaining confidentiality builds trust and ensures client feels safe to open up. Second one is non-judgmental attitude. It means accepting clients without criticizing their choices or lifestyle. Social workers meet people from different backgrounds with different beliefs and behaviors. Our role is to understand, not judge. For example, if a client is struggling with addiction, we should not label them irresponsible. Instead, we should understand their situation and support their recovery. When clients will judge, they may stop sharing openly. So being non-judgmental helps build trust and creates a safe space for clients. Avoiding dual relationship means not having multiple roles with the same client that could affect professionalism. What it means? A social worker should not become a close friend, business partner, or romantic partner with a client. Why? Because it can create a conflict of interest and misuse of power. Imagine giving a special treatment to a client because they are your friend. That would be unethical. So maintaining a single professional relationship ensures fairness, objectivity, and ethical practice. Next, informed consent means clients have the right to understand and agree to the services they receive. Before starting any intervention, social workers must clearly explain the purpose, process, risk, and benefits. For example, if you are conducting counseling sessions, the client should know what to expect and voluntarily agree to participate. They should also know they can withdraw at any time. So, informed consent respects the client's autonomy and right to make decisions about their own life. Professional boundaries means keeping a respectful and appropriate distance in the client relationship. Social workers should be caring and supportive but not overly personal. For example, regularly meeting a client outside professional settings or sharing too much personal information can blur boundaries. This may lead to emotional dependency or confusion in roles. So maintaining boundaries ensures the relationship remains focused on the client's well-being and stays ethical. Ethical dilemma is a circumstance which occurs only when two or more social work values are in conflict. It is a situation where a social worker is confused between two or more ethical responsibilities, and choosing one option may lead to violation of another. In social work practice, we rarely face similar situations. Most of the time, we face complex decisions where both choices are important, but we cannot follow both at the same time. For example, confidentiality is core value in social work, but at the same time, protecting life and safety is also very important. So when these values conflict, it becomes an ethical dilemma. Social workers cannot use personal opinion alone in such situations. They must follow ethical principles, professional guidelines, and critical thinking. For example, imagine a college counselor is working with a student who shares that they are deeply depressed and have suicidal thoughts. The student requests, "Please don't tell my parents." Now, the counselor faces an ethical dilemma. If they keep confidentiality, they respect the student's privacy. If they inform parents, they protect the student's life. Here, both choices have serious consequences. According to social work ethics, protecting life takes priority. So the counselor may need to break confidentiality in a responsible way and involve parents or mental health services while still supporting the student emotionally. In conclusion, the code of ethics and values in social work are not just theoretical concepts. They are the foundation of professional practice. They guide social workers in making the right decisions, especially in complex and challenging situations. Values like service, social justice, dignity, integrity, and competence shape the attitude and behavior of every social worker. At the same time, the Code of Ethics provides clear standards to ensure that these values are practiced in a responsible and professional way. In real practice, often face ethical dilemmas where they must balance different responsibilities. In such situations, the Code of Ethics acts as a guiding framework to choose the most ethical and appropriate action. So, understanding and following the Code of Ethics is essential for every social work professional. If you found this video helpful in understanding the Code of Ethics and values in social work practice, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. So be curious and keep learning on Learn with Dr. Sindhu.